When you picture accounting, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it maybe those old green visors and dusty ledgers? Well, the real story is actually one of relentless, nonstop innovation. Today, we're going to trace the incredible technological journey of the accounting profession, all the way from the first mechanical calculators to intelligent AI agents that can, believe it or not, think and act on their own.
But that makes you wonder, right? Was accounting ever really a low-tech field? I mean, this stereotype is strong, but history tells a totally different story. It's a story of a profession that has always, and I mean always, been at the cutting edge of using new tech to manage the world's most important data. It's money.
So, our story really kicks off in what we can call the age of automation. And you might be surprised to hear this, but way before most business departments were even thinking about computers, finance and accounting folks were the pioneers. They were embracing technology to get faster, more accurate, and just bigger.
And this all happened in two big waves. First, in the 60s, you had the desktop calculator. This thing was a total revolution. Calculations that used to take minutes were suddenly done in seconds. Then the 70s roll around, and the mainframe computer takes everything to a whole new level. The focus wasn't just on speed anymore. It was about massive scale, putting a whole company's financial data onto one single powerful machine. Okay, so that brings us to the next big leap, the age of integration. By the late 90s, the world was on the brink of another huge change. It was like a perfect storm of three completely unrelated global events was about to collide and totally reshape corporate finance as we knew it. So you had these three huge forces creating this urgent need for something new. First, there was the Y2K bug, which forced pretty much every company on the planet to upgrade their systems. Second, the internet just exploded, making real-time global business possible. And third, the collapse of Enron led to new rules like Sarbanes-Oxley, which demanded absolutely airtight financial controls. And the solution that came out of all this chaos? The Enterprise Resource Planning System, or ERP. You had giants like SAP and Oracle building these massive platforms to create a single source of truth, linking up finance, HR, manufacturing, the supply chain, the whole shebang, into one integrated system. This really defined the age of connection and control. But, those big on-premise ERP systems were super expensive, really rigid and hard to get to. The stage was totally set for another disruption. This time it was driven by a new way of thinking that promised flexibility, affordability, and access from literally anywhere, the cloud. And the difference was just night and day. The old on-premise world went huge upfront costs, you could only access it from the office, and updates were a total nightmare. The new world of cloud software as a service, led by companies like Salesforce and Xero, just flipped the whole model on its head. Now it was the simple subscription, access from anywhere, and constant seamless improvements. This was the beginning of the age of access. And that brings us to today, and honestly, the most profound shift of them all. We're moving beyond just automating processes. We're now introducing genuine intelligence. This is the moment when machines started to understand not just numbers and data, but context, nuance, and human language itself. This revolution is all being powered by generative AI. Think of tools you've probably heard of, like ChatGPT or Claude. They don't just compute, they actually comprehend. They can read a financial report, understand what's going on, and then write a human-like summary explaining it all. They're literally generating new, valuable insights from the data you already have. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just another small step in automation. It was a giant leap into a whole new category. For decades, tech automated actions, calculations, data entry, reconciliations. But now, for the very first time, we could automate communication. Things like drafting reports, explaining policies, and summarizing performance. But as incredible as these tools were, they had one big limitation. They could analyze all your data and tell you exactly what you needed to do. They could write the perfect formula, draft the perfect email, or outline the perfect journal entry. They could give you the perfect advice, but they couldn't actually take that next step for you. Which leads us to the absolute cutting edge. The frontier we are just now starting to explore. This is the age of action, where AI makes that final critical leap from being a brilliant advisor to being an active partner in your work. And this brings us to the most important distinction. While generative AI can advise, agentic AI can act. It doesn't just tell you what to do, it connects to your other systems and just does it for you. So an AI agent is an intelligent system that you can give a goal to, and it will work on its own to get it done. For instance, you could ask it to Investigate the variance in the Q3 marketing budget and draft an email to the CMO. It will then securely connect to your ERP, spreadsheets, and email to do all those steps, with you supervising, of course. It's really less of a tool and more of a digital colleague. And the way it works is a simple but really powerful loop. First, it perceives your goal, just from you typing in plain English. Then, it reasons, using that generative AI power to break that goal down into logical steps. And finally, it acts, using its connections to your other systems to get those steps done until the goal is achieved.
So look, this is not just some incremental updates. The ability for AI to safely and autonomously act on our behalf is a fundamental shift in how we relate to technology. It really, truly changes everything about how work is going to get done.
So let's just quickly recap this incredible journey. It's been this continuous evolution that has defined modern accounting and has brought us to this wild new chapter. The whole story is a really clear progression, isn't it? We started with automation, just looking for speed and scale. Then came integration with ERPs for connection and control. The cloud brought us the age of access, giving us flexibility. And now we're in the age of intelligence, where AI gives us the power of reasoning and finally, the ability to take autonomous action.
Which leaves us with one last, really big question to think about. As these AI agents get more and more capable, what does the future of the profession even look like? Maybe the answer isn't about competition at all, but about collaboration. A future where every human professional is empowered by a team of intelligent agents, working together to achieve more than we ever thought possible.